Hello, this is Patrick from XPression. I'd like to show you how to support multiple resolution outputs using XPression. So I'm starting here in the XPression software. We're creating some templates to support broadcast as well as social media outputs. And a lot of social media outputs are not standard dimensions. For example, a lot of times they're taller than they are wide or square, where broadcast is a 16:9 wide frame. So you can see here I've got a graphic here, and I built this on purpose with a sphere in it so we can see when we've got this correct, because if it's egg-shaped or it's oval-shaped, we know that we're going to have it wrong. So this is the broadcast version of this, and what I've also done is I've created, for example, I've got a square version of this. If you look over here, if I work in this, you can see my frame is designed a little bit differently. It's square, it's 1080 by 1080. This is, I think it's 1080 by 1350, I think. I'd have to double check my resolution, but you can see it's taller than it is wide, and it's not exactly 16:9 either. The way that this is done, by the way, if I go and I create a new scene, when I right click on it, I convert dimensions, and I can enter the dimensions that I would like to enter in here. So that's how I would create these non-broadcast dimensions that I'm using for these, and we'll see later what this means and where it matters. But you can see that I've created a couple choices here. I've got a broadcast resolution, I've got one that I've done for landscape versions for Instagram, I've got one for square versions of Instagram, and I've got one for a portrait version or tall version of Instagram. So these are put together. Now let's go see how we use these in the newsroom. Okay, so here we are in the newsroom, and you can see I've got a graphic here that I've built, and I've got a script. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this to my story. I'm going to save it. I'm also going to approve it, and I'm making sure that this rundown is turned on and monitored. It is monitored. Perfect. So I just wanted to put this here so we could see this, and we can see that it's in a story called the example story. Next, let's go over to our nonlinear editing system and see how we use this. All right, I'm now in Adobe Premiere Pro. I could use this with Avid Media Composer, Adobe Premiere Pro, Grass Valley Edits. These are the three major ones that we support. The way this is done here, you can see first off, I have a canvas here. This is a 1080 by 1080. This is an Instagram square frame for editing that my editors are going to use. But they would like to put the graphics in here. So I'm going to go over to Video Effects. I'm going to come down to the Video Effects folder. I'm going to find the XPression NLE, and I'm going to drop it onto my video source. And I'm putting it onto a transparent video so I can go back after it. Now, what I want you to notice, I'm going to open up the XPression plugin, and I'm going to go click Browse, Rundowns. In the 5 p.m., I have something called Example Story, and you can see here's the graphic, Bob's Your Uncle. If I hover over it, you can see what it is. I'm going to double click, and that puts it into my editing tool. What I want you to remember, this is 16:9 for broadcast, so it's 1920 by 1080. If I click OK, what I want you to notice, when this graphic appears, my circle, my sphere, has turned into an egg. How come? Because literally what the NLE system is doing is it's taking the frame that I have for that graphic, and it's going to make sure that its raster is squeezed so that edge to edge fits in. It's compressing this so that the entire image fits in, and it doesn't really care if it's got the wrong aspect ratio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my plugin for XPression, open that up, and I've got the graphic here. You can see this editing the template I call broadcast mode. I'm going to click on the graphics tab, and I see that I've got an Instagram square. I'm going to hold down the shift key and then double click on the Instagram square, and it's going to ask me, do you want to change the selected template for this effect? And the answer is yes. And you can see now this is a square, and it looks like it's correct, and it kept all the original information. I'm going to click OK and give it a second to pop in, and now you can see I'm back to a sphere, and you can see the same information is there. So that's now let me put the same content that I use for broadcast into an NLE tool that I'm going to be editing content for working in social media, which is a different aspect ratio or resolution than what my broadcast site is. So there are tools in XPression to handle this even today.